Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Thirsty Thursday edition of The Rundown, episode 101. I am your host, Craig DeLuz, bringing to you from the left coast 2A News with conservative views. And as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
101, patch on my shoulder. Hey, welcome to the Rundown, the Thirsty Thursday edition. My name is Mike Wazowski. I am the co-host coming to you from the East Coast.
Okay, who called you Mike Pazowski?
Listen, I got a phone call and it came in as unknown. And normally when I get those unknowns, it's from one of the companies I work with. And I was expecting a call from them. Otherwise, they don't answer unknown. And it came in and it asked about, hi, we're from blah, blah, blah business magazine. We'd like to make sure your address is correct. I'm like, who are you trying to call? And they said, Mike P. Were. And I said, hey, I don't know any Mike Wazowski, and I don't have that magazine, so you got a wrong number. So that's pretty much my default. I am not Mike Wazowski.
You are not Mike Wazowski. Whenever I get those calls, it comes up as on my phone as scam likely.
Yes.
And so that, my wife and I have kind of this thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's that broad scam likely. She keeps calling. I keep telling her I'm not interested in going out with it.
Old scam likely. That's it. Yeah, you don't answer her call when your wife's around. Yeah, the unknown for me is a government number, so that's why I assumed it was such. So
excellent. So Mike, it's Thirsty Thursday. Tomorrow evening we are going to be together in Detroit.
Detroit, sir. We will be together in the good city out there in Detroit, getting ready to help Mr. Ector from Legally Armed in Detroit teach 4,000 women some firearm safety classes with actual shooting involved. So
yes, exactly. This is not just it's literally going to be, and you guys have to see it's so systematic the way in which they do it, and they get them in, they get them through, they get them out, and still they provide some quality initial instruction. It's phenomenal. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing some interviews, talking with some folks, hopefully some folks who have been there before and came back, kind of get a follow-up on, what they thought of, now where they are in their experience with firearms, but also some first-timers and see what brought them out.
Yeah, and you listened, we saw a lot there. Was a lot of women were coming in groups, whether it was groups of 2, groups of 10. They all got together and decided this is something they wanted to do. And that's not something you see with guys, but the women that we saw out there were definitely teaming up and coming together.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, it like I said, overall, the entire thing was just a phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to going back, and also looking forward to seeing, so many of our friends who are coming together from across the country.
Yes.
To be able to volunteer to train. Some of them aren't even trainers. They're just going to be there to kind of help organize and do stuff. Anyway, it's a great way. It's a great opportunity to see the gun community come together, and politics aside, all that, and just help people and give people an opportunity to experience the joy of shooting.
Listen, it's the first time we've had the opportunity to get together in 6 months. So. It's going to happen. It's going to be great. If you're in the Detroit area, and you want to come hang out with us either at the shooting event or afterwards, just go to the Rundown, send us a message. Go to Arms Room Radio, send us a message. Go to 2A News and send us a message. We'll let you know where we are. It'll be great to throw a few back with you.
Yes, we will. We would love to hang out with you guys if you guys want to come on out. Guys or gals, come on out, hang out. Join us. We won't have as much bourbon as is in the bourbon room, but I'm sure we'll have enough.
I mean, come on. I mean, you can't have as much bourbon as this if you're in a liquor store. I mean, I got the bourbon here.
Yeah, well, I'll just put it to you this way. Your expectations of a liquor store and mine are a little bit different then.
Listen, I'll say this. The bourbon room has become something that, we started with a couple of bottles of bourbon that we had, and we called it the bourbon room. And it was really based after one of the places we held a lot of meetings out in Las Vegas at SHOT Show. Mm-hmm. And now it's become known that I have the bourbon room. So I get 2-3 bottles of bourbon a week people are sending me. And we got to find homes for them. You should see the shelves here on the side of me, let alone behind me. So
Dude, look, you've seen my mini collection. I mean,
Yes.
It's nothing compared to yours. But
Yeah, well,
if you
it's
have some
genetics,
stray
it's smaller,
bottles
yeah.
that need a home,
Yeah.
I've got, not only do I have shelves, but I have room for more.
I would, but I would gladly mail you some alcohol, Craig, but I'd have to send it to the California Division of Alcohol first for them to tax it and test it before they sent it to you. It has to go to a licensed distributor in California. I can't mail it directly to you. I'd be helping you break the law.
I did not know that. Well, now
Yeah.
that I know, we'll have to make sure to exchange some of that in Detroit.
There we go. There we go. Take trois. You could take it back through the duty free.
Duty free. He said duty.
Duty. Fire.
He said duty.
Fire.
Okay, let's get on to the news today. All right, folks, everyone is still talking about Afghanistan, or the debacle that is Afghanistan. And the interesting part about it, the only thing that has been more newsworthy than just how poorly the exit from Afghanistan has been the president's response, President Biden's response to criticisms of how it was handled. And there was an interview that he did with George Stephanopoulos on ABC News. And Mike, I got to tell you, it was beyond scary just how defiant he was. And let me show you a small clip of it, just to give you an idea of how out of touch with reality the president is when it comes to this particular situation.
We've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos.
So Mike here, he's basically saying, so these are pictures of people who are crammed into this thing. First of all, it was maybe a day or two before this interview took place.
Yeah.
So first of all, the question is, did he even know what day it was?
No.
But then on top of it, just this like treating it like, well, that was last year sort of an attitude. It's like, dude, this is happening right now. Nothing has changed from the situation that caused these people. There were people hanging out of the wheel well of airplanes. They were that scared of being killed because we turned on them.
Yeah. Listen, does it sound familiar when somebody says it happened in the past? What difference does it make?
Very Hillary-esque.
Yep.
Very
Have you heard that from
Hillary-esque.
somebody else? Yep. It happened in the past. Craig, I have to tell you, looking at that picture inside the C-17, a couple of things noted that I saw when people had a conversation about it was it appears to be, I think they said it was like 630, 640 was the count of people they had in there. That it's all, we took a look at it, military age fighting males, right? It's everybody 17 to 40 years old. There's no women, there's no children, there's no elderly people. These are the heroes of Afghanistan that could not stay and fight the Taliban and chose to flee their own families, their own women, their own children, their own elderly people, because that's the bravery you got going on amongst the Afghan people. This is what I told you about the other day, about the most worthless fighters you could ever find. Can't even call them fighters. Most worthless people wearing a uniform that you could ever find. This is the civilian population, probably the Afghan National Army and the Afghan National Police, stealing clothes from other people to get on that airplane. The second comment that I have for that picture, Craig, of all those people on that airplane, is that airplane will never smell the same again.
Well,
I got to tell you something about the way those people smell over there. It's just... That country has the highest airborne fecal content in the world. All right. And that's not by accident.
Wow. Okay. Well, now, Mike, did you hear about the controversy over so there was this photo that was released by the White House via Twitter over the weekend, right? So here's the image right here, right?
Yep.
And so first of all, I don't know what made them think that this was a good idea to have the president sitting there looking confused in a room all by himself, looking like he's watching CNN.
Yeah.
I don't know what made them think that this was a good idea, but that's not the controversy. The controversy was, how are the clocks actually wrong in the there? He's supposedly in his briefing room where he's supposed to be sitting, having a conversation, listening to and learning about what is going on, and they don't even have the times right. If you notice, there's a 3-hour difference there between Moscow and London, and now, mind you, now there is a 3-hour time difference, but Moscow doesn't observe the daylight savings time. They don't, they don't change their clocks, but London does, and so there actually should not be. I forget if it's supposed to be more or less, but the clocks were actually wrong in the briefing room where the president is learning about what is going on at the time. And you would think that if the clocks are going to be right anywhere, they ought to be right around the president, right?
London is GMT +1, Moscow's GMT +3, and Afghanistan, Kabul is GMT +4.5. So I bet listen, he's clearly got the times wrong there. There should be 3 hours difference between Moscow and London, but Kabul is one of those countries, one of those very, very strange countries that is on the half-hour mark. They've decided they're going to be half-hour distance. Different than everybody else, so they're 4.5 different than GMT plus GMT. So that's probably got him even more bewildered.
Hey.
That one's up there probably correctly, and he's trying to figure out how could it be 30 minutes difference in a different time zone. So
once again, I don't think to me it's not a huge deal, but it is symptomatic.
It absolutely is. It's attention to detail.
Well,
you're
yes,
in the damn situation room there, and you don't know what time it is.
No, I know. Okay, I hear you. But the point that I'm making is that this is just this is just one example of just how out of touch and how not together this administration is, especially when it comes to foreign policy.
Yeah, listen, you're right. You're right. But you want to talk about out of touch? Let's talk about our next topic here, and her role in the whole thing.
Oh yeah. So there was an interview that was done with Ms. Harris on I think it was on CNN. Anyway, she was talking. They were talking about how decisions are basically made there in the Oval Office when it comes to foreign policy. And she makes it a point. She wants to be, supposedly the president wants her to be the last person in the room. Now, Mike, what does that mean, being the last person in the room when a big decision is being made?
And I kind of know the history on this. When Obama was president, he used to bring Sleepy Joe in as the last guy in the room. The theory that Obama sold Biden on was, what we're going to do is bring my advisors in and all of my people and all of my staff, and we're going to make this decision. And then, Joe, we're going to bring you in as the last person in the room as the sanity check to make sure everything is correct, to make sure we didn't miss anything. When what he really meant was, Joe, no matter what this country does, we're going to make sure you're the last one to come in on it. All right. You're the last guy we want to hear from, Joe. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Well, that's what Joe's doing to Kamala now. Listen, we're going to do these big policy decisions, and you're going to be the last one to know. Not even the last one in the room to make it sound like it was a sanity check. She's just going to be the last one to know.
Well, but it's not good. It's not good either way, because either it's the way in which you said, where it's like, look, we're just going to be the last person. You're going to be the last person we read in after we've already made our decision.
Yep.
Or she's the one that's supposed to be making the sanity checks, and it never occurred to her, getting all of the information that they have, that how they were planning on getting out was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, because there was tons of information, there was tons of opportunity, tons of people had talked to the administration and talked to the media about what was going to happen as soon as we started just pulling out.
Listen, when Jim Acosta at CNN turns on the Democrats for their handling of what's going on in Afghanistan, they should probably go, could we review this? Could we take another look at this again, just to be sure? It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, and she literally was the last one to know, because the last one to tell her. And listen, Joe might have been the last one to know too. He's clearly not planning these things on his own.
He probably forgot, and then they had to tell him again.
Exactly right.
Maybe that's why she's the last one in the room.
ago.
It's her job to remind him of what they talked about and what they're about to do.
I see them getting his signature on a lot of things. Mr. President, sign here that you agree, and then they walk away. Because they know he's going to forget in 10 minutes, but they can go, no, look, the president signed the order. So,
crazy stuff.
Yep.
Okay, moving right along. Mayor DeBlasio. Now, you guys all know him, Mayor DeBlasio. He is the outgoing mayor of the city of New York. He's decided that on his way out, he's going to implement a program. One that has been implemented in several cities across the country, by the way, including the city of Sacramento, the city of Stockton, several cities here in California, where they identify, because mind you, when it comes to, in particular, violence or gang violence or gun violence or violence involving firearms, they already know about 70 to 75% of the people who are likely to be involved and engaged in these crimes. And rather than surveil them or rather than keep an eye on them or arrest them when they do commit the crime, they've decided that the best way to handle this is to go out and create this program to get people away from gangs, away from drugs, and away from the violence that's associated with them, and then put them on the payroll, basically to pay them. In this case, $1,000. I think it's $1,000 or $1,000 a month, but to pay them to be a part of a program, basically to not commit violent crimes. Basically, they're paying people to not be criminals.
This is about the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. We're going to give them $1,000. $1,000, Craig. This is like saying, I don't know, who's the biggest movie star out there? Tom Cruise, right? Is that accurate? Hey, Tom Cruise, you make $30 million a movie, but we're going to give you $1,000 a day if you come act for us and don't act for those other people. Because, we want you to do what we want you to do, not what you want to do. It's ridiculous. $1,000 a day to these bangers is nothing. Okay. They could take that gun out and do whatever they want with it. The usual suspects, Craig, you described them as, you know how we know that? Because they've committed these crimes many times before. They've been caught with the gun many times before. Their encounters with the police have showed these guns many times before. They go in and out of jail. You already see the money that changes hands that you've seized off of them that they use when they bring their lawyers in to get them out of jail for post and bond or whatever else. And you think $1,000 a day is going to make any difference at all? You might as well just take that money, put it in a burn barrel,
right,
and light whatever you're smoking with it.
Well,
because it's not going to have a damn bit to do except taking more money away from the citizens.
Let me tell you the experience that they had in Stockton, California. They instituted this program, and then murders went up 60%.
Yeah.
So it was not very successful. Now, I will say this, and this is the one bright spot of this idea. And I think the idea is a stupid idea, but it is at least a recognition that when it comes to this violence, it's not a gun problem, it's a people problem. That's the only bright spot that I will say, that at least it is a recognition that it is a people problem.
Right. Well, and what's the government's answer to it? Even though they finally may have figured out it's a people problem, the answer is still throw money at it. Throw money at it.
Right. Well, and the worst part is it's a pittance amount of money too.
Yeah.
Trust me, you are right. They are earning more money. They are earning more money committing the crimes than they are in the money that's being afforded to them in this particular program.
Craig, we've talked about it before with the whole the evening or midnight basketball league, whatever you want to call it. First off, I think doing the basketball league is pretty racist to say we have to have basketball if we're going to have sports for inner city kids. Why not build a sports complex? Why not build a Y or something like that for them? Why give them these $1,000 handouts for them to go do whatever the hell they want to? Why don't we provide actual real infrastructure, since we have a damn infrastructure bill pending, and build these kind of items for them?
Right. Give them alternatives and stuff they can do instead of hanging out on the street corner.
How about a sports center? How about a sports center with night school in it? How about that? How about something like that? How about a community college? So you can earn degrees in there as well as that high school degree if you have to. How about real infrastructure with real guidance and real mentorship?
Because that would be a real solution, and we don't do that in government.
Nope.
We don't do that, especially not in liberal government. Liberal cities, we don't do real solutions. We throw money at it.
Yep. Exactly right.
We steal from the law-abiding and we give it to the criminals. That's what we do.
Exactly right. And thank you again, President Biden, for giving more money to Florida. So we like we love that COVID money. Keep sending it.
Like that COVID money. All right. Moving right along. All right. So the situation going on in Miami, there was a police officer, and after they had a pretty big sting. By the way, Mike, you want to talk about this one? You want to lead on this one?
This is a great one. Let's throw the photo up. I mean, this is
okay.
This
officer has been suspended. Now, I want you to take a look at this photo, and I want you to tell me. Think about it for a second. Which officer do you think is suspended and under investigation, and why do you think he's under investigation? Anyone? Bueller? Mikey? What do you think, Mikey?
Listen, take a look at these guys. These are some white officers, some Hispanic officers. And I'm just going to generalize that because of the colors of their skin. All right, I can't tell if middle guy there or guy on the far right might have some other ethnicity in them, but I'm going to guess white and Hispanic mostly in this group. But guess what? It's Miami. That's what most people are in Miami. If you take a look at the profile of the city, but that officer on the far right, Craig, has now been suspended for white power. White power. Okay.
Look, I zoomed it in a little bit for you. Can you see that?
Yep. White power. Now, I guess the people in Miami, and this is the woke folk, right? We all know this. And their new loser chief Acevedo, by the way, who's been fired from 2 other police administration jobs, ended up in Miami because I guess they don't know how to do a background check and find out he's been fired from 2 other law enforcement agencies. So he thinks that that's white power. Now, okay, that's not how they do the white power sign, Craig. The white power sign is straight up and down. Let me see if I can do this. Because look, when you do that, it's a W and a P, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's not this because that's not a W and a P, all right? Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, it's not this one when you do it below the waist because that means I get to punch you because you looked because I did it below the waist. Major look. That's the major look one. You know what it is when you do it sideways? You know what it is when you do it twice sideways? It says 3%. Remember the 3%, okay?
Right.
I am here to fight for my nation. I'm here to uphold my oath. I am up here to uphold the Constitution. I am one of the 3%, which gets its reference from the actual number of people that picked up firearms, active frontline soldiers during the American Revolution, that 3%. We know that it was much more than that were involved, but it was 3% that picked up the rifle and stood in front of the British, okay? 3%. That's what that means.
Well, Mike, the thing is that it has a whole bunch of meanings. There are a number of organizations. Let's put the Bloods use it as a symbol.
Yeah, I mean, it could be East Coast, it could be West Coast. I get that. Right. It could be all of that.
The fraternity I'm in, Kappa Alpha Psi, we do it like this, and we do it like this. Right. It's a symbol that a lot of people use, but it's funny because if you're a cop and you use it, or if you're a white male or white person and you use it, it automatically means white supremacy. And it's odd because, you see other people use it and then you're like, well, no one's saying anything when they do it. Obama's done it. Members of the NBA, every time they shoot a 3, this is what they do, right? Yep. Every time they make a 3, they go, they put their stuff up like that. But yet and still, once again, it's not considered white supremacy. It's just, honestly, it is idiotic. And here's the thing. If you are looking for racism, you will see it everywhere you are. If you believe that there is systemic racism all throughout society, you will see it wherever you go. And that's what we're dealing with is the woke left, who once again wants to see racism in every single thing, make every single problem a problem of race and racism. And the fact is that I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. I'm not saying that there is none. I'm just saying that it's not the boogeyman behind every corner.
This is ridiculous. There's a guy, listen, they just took how many guns off the street down there during this raid, how much drugs off the street down there, making this city safer. And I bet you looking at those pictures, Craig, and I'm not trying to profile, but that officer's name probably ends with an A or a Z. He's as white as you are. He's Hispanic, probably from 3 generations back living in Miami, you know?
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, because he's proud of to be a constitutional, or maybe he's a Kappa Psi, like you said, you know,
right.
they're gonna assume that it's white power. You could have assumed that he was a member of BLM and it would have been just as believable. All right. You know, because all we're doing is profiling on a damn picture. All right.
Right.
You just
and now he is under he's suspended and he's under investigation for stupidity.
So which means the streets down there are less safe. Right. You got a cop that's aggressive out there enforcing the law, even in the day like today, where you could lose your life or your freedom at any moment. This guy's still out there enforcing the law, and because you can't take 3 minutes. You know what you do in law enforcement? You get all the facts before you make your decision, right? Not the chief, evidently. Nope. There's a picture of him holding fingers sideways. Going to suspend him. Don't care what the rest of the story is. Going to suspend him now.
Yep. That's pretty much the it's pretty much the modus operandi.
That's Chief Art Acevedo by there down the way. So
Art Acevedo.
That's
just call
his
him
name.
Ass. Just call him Chief Ass.
Chief Art Acevedo. Yep. Fired in Texas, fired in California, ends up in Miami because Miami can't do a damn background check when they're looking for new candidates for police chiefs.
There you go. Florida man exemplified.
Yep.
Okay, moving right along. Okay, so once again, we're going to have another story about wokeness. So there's this announcer, baseball announcer. He's the Tigers announcer. Guy came up to bat. He was Japanese. And they were asked, well, how do you... I forgot what the question was asked, but he's like... He responded by saying, very, very carefully. Only he said it in a mocking Asian accent. And
let's throw this out there too. The announcer is not just some announcer. This is former retired Major League Baseball pitcher Jack Morris, who has 254 victories as a pitcher. He is a member of the Hall of Fame of Baseball, the most exclusive organization in the world. And he's a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's now an announcer. He's been an announcer for 10 years or so, announcer for the Detroit Tigers, where he played, right? So they're playing against Ohtani, Shoni Ohtani, who is he's a Japanese phenom. You know, this guy can hit, this guy can pitch. He plays for the Los Angeles Angels at Anaheim of California. And they brought him up and they said, what do you do in this situation against him? How do you pitch him? And Jack said, very, very carefully, like that. Listen, I listened to it and I thought he was doing Elmer Fudd, but then I guess I realized it was a bad Asian accent. And that was it. You know, listen, I guess later on in the broadcast, they brought it to his attention. He was like, hey, listen, the guy's a superstar, and we've said that multiple times here, and what an incredible player he is. I'm sorry if I made fun of his accent. We apologize. And boom, but that's not enough. He's off the air. They took one of the all-time greats of baseball, who's talking about a current player, off the air because he made a funny voice.
Well, and the funny part is he's praising him as he does, as
exactly
he's
right.
doing this.
Yeah,
here's the thing, man. In this day and age, is it advisable that you do something like that? No. But here's the funny part is that so then every single time anybody in media, any black dude in media makes fun of or Latino makes fun of a white accent, should they then be suspended or fired or whatever under investigation as well?
Yeah, right. I mean, and that's what we're talking about here, right? We know it's a double standard.
Right.
We know it only applies when it's whites talking about someone else, not when it's the reverse.
Right. Well, and that's the sort of division that the wokeness is causing. It's like, okay, what it's doing is creating a specific racism that is allowable, and that is racism against white people. It's okay to say whatever the heck you want about white people, to trash them, to give them a hard time or whatever, to make fun of them, but not anyone else, right? Nobody else, everyone else gets a pass. Even if the statements that you are making are 100% accurate, you will be called out and you will be called a racist and you will be drummed out of society.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just more woke nonsense. This is from the media there. This was from the television network that airs the games. This didn't have anything to do with baseball, didn't have anything to do with the teams. I'm sure if once Ohtani gets wind of this, he's going to reach out because he's an honorable, very distinguished young man playing baseball. It's crazy how mature he is at his young age, and being international, and then also being over here not speaking the language for the most part. It's amazing. What a great guy he is. He will probably reach out to Jack Morris and try and make this right with him, and probably make fun of Jack Morris's name somehow. I don't know. Just
probably. Hopefully so.
Yeah,
I hope he does. I hope he does because once again, it's almost to the point. Like I look at society nowadays, man. I'm like, I don't know how comedians are gonna make it nowadays because you can't make fun of anything without being accused of being racist, being sexist, being homophobic, being genderphobic. There's absolutely nothing that you can make fun of nowadays. And that's what, for example, what comedians, that's what comedy is. It's taking what is and exaggerating it. And to a certain degree mocking it so that you can point it out using humor to point out real life. And if you can't do that, then I'm sorry, if we can't laugh, then what the hell is life worth living for?
Bourbon.
Bourbon. Yeah, but bourbon will lead you to do and say some of those things that will probably get you in trouble.
You've got to enjoy life, and if you don't have humor, it's a miserable life.
And by the way, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you got a problem. I'm like this. I don't need it. You can make fun of me all you want. I just have one demand. It's got to be funny. It's got to be funny. That's all I ask is that it is funny. Because otherwise, it's just mean.
That's right. Now, Craig, sometimes it's funny. You just don't get it. The rest of us are laughing. We just want you to catch up. So.
Yeah, no. If I don't get it, it's clearly not funny.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll put it to the test this weekend.
We will definitely put it to the test this weekend. In honor of Afghanistan and one of their number one products produced there, we're going to go to our parting shot. And this was one that we were supposed to actually do yesterday. I couldn't find it on my computer because I pulled up the wrong one. But
it works today too.
It definitely works today because we did talk about Afghanistan.
Yep.
And here we go. So we got this guy. Are you sure the vaccines are safe? I have no idea. This is heroin.
Listen, when we were in Afghanistan, their number one cash crop was opium. And I've got pictures just standing in giant fields of opium over there, or outside the fields. You don't want to stand in it. But, all this opium that was going on. And in our great design, we decided that the way to help the Afghanis make money and get rid of their opium crops that they were selling illicitly around the world was to get rid of it and replace it with corn. Good old-fashioned desert Afghani corn, because what the world needs, Craig, is Afghan corn.
Forgive me. It's funny. I saw the heroin. I'm like, dude, I don't do illicit drugs. So to me, heroin, opium, crack, it's all the same thing.
Yep. Drogas.
It's all the same thing. So, folks, hey. So, as you know, as we talked about, we're gonna be in Detroit, in Detroit, starting tomorrow. So, we're both gonna be traveling during our normal program time tomorrow. But what we will be doing is we will be doing some programs from Detroit on Saturday and Sunday. So, what we're going to do is instead of having Feedback Friday on Friday, as has been the tradition when we're not able to do a program on Friday, we'll be doing Feedback Friday on Saturday. So, encourage you guys to tune in. Once again, all of the programs are live. I want to encourage you guys to tune in. If you have any questions, we're going to be having interviews from both people who are being trained, from trainers, from personalities, from organizations all across the country. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope that you guys will tune in with us over the weekend. And Mikey, for the Feedback Friday edition on Saturday, want to remind the folks what they have an opportunity to win?
Sure. And what time will this be on Feedback Saturday?
Oh, we don't have a time yet. We got to get there. We got to get set up, and it's probably going to be. We're going to at least shoot for the same time. At least one episode will. The Feedback Friday edition will aim for the same time that we normally do it, which is going to be 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon Pacific. So the Feedback Friday edition will be at that time, but we'll probably be off and on doing live stuff throughout the day.
I think we might have to check the times. I think we have something else we're already doing from 3 to 5.
Arms Room Radio. That's right. Oh, dang, that's on Saturday. Arr.
Might be Feedback Sunday.
You want to do it? You want to do it on Sunday?
I think it might be Feedback Sunday. Yeah.
Feedback Sunday. Okay.
There we go.
I like that. Feedback Sunday. My apologies, sir. See, this is how you guys know this stuff is live, because we're figuring it out as we go.
Well, and I know what's going on in your head because you're thinking different times. Your brain's 3 hours different than mine.
Right.
So when you're saying 3 p.m., it doesn't matter. Well, that's different. That's not the East Coast 3 p.m. That's the West Coast 3 p.m. So it's no big deal. You look like Biden looking at the wall inside the conference room there, checking out the clocks. Hold the 2.
What time is it?
Why
is it so cold in here?
But why is Afghanistan 30 minutes different? I don't know.
Can somebody turn up the heat?
You got a sweater?
Make me some tea. Make me a cup of tea. Put some lemon in it.
Yep.
All right. So what is it they're going to have a chance to win, Mikey?
We're going to go with another barrel. We got another barrel for
nice.
From our good friends at Grid Defense.
Excellent. You guys are going to want that. You guys are definitely going to want that.
And
all right, folks. That's going to be
beret, let me know.
He's got his raspberry beret from our 99th episode.
I'm keeping the little red Corvette though. I've been playing with it the whole show.
For our 199th, your little red Corvette.
That's my little red Corvette. I'm keeping that one.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the Rundown. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back with you on Saturday and on Sunday. So remember to tune in. Remember to tell your friends about the Rundown, the place to go to talk about 2A news and with conservative views. Like, share, subscribe.
Epstein didn't kill himself.